This is Jeff Byers, and we're going to continue on with the high polygon modeling and baking. So we just got done with the UVs. Let's go ahead and scale this up, and scale it up to 16 by 16 by 16. There you go. And let's go ahead and scale the large one as well, the high poly one as well, if I can find it. Oh, so small I can't see it. Okay, we're going to scale this up 16 by 16 by 16. There we go. Let's go ahead and leave by type history. Modify, freeze, transformations. Let's click on the low poly. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and save this out. It looks like the high poly is looking okay. Okay, so we save it out. Export selection. And I'm going to do dice high poly new 2. Let that save out. And export low poly new 2. Okay. So we're all exported out. Let's go ahead and save our scene. Let's do X normal, open up X normal. Let's go ahead and add mesh. Let's do high poly new, high definition. Add meshes. And low poly new. Let's make sure both of those are selected. So high poly and low poly, and the bake options, go ahead and turn off ambient occlusion. Let's do normal map first. Let's go ahead and, where do we want to put it? I'm going to do dice new 2. Save that. And let's go ahead and generate maps. So we got map generated, and this is incorrect. Alright. So we got some issues in here, and there's some problems ran into before. Some of you guys have run into some X-normal problems. So let's take those OBJs and let's see if we can filter them through ZBrush and see if that'll work. So let's go to high definition mesh. Let's right click over this, remove mesh, and remove mesh. Baking options, we'll go back to normal. Do 4 times. Okay. Let's go ahead and close this. Let's open up ZBrush and see if we can filter our models and find out what is exactly happening and why it is causing X-normal to crash. So we're going to go ahead and import our object. There we go. Okay, so HiPolyDice 2. I think that's the issue. That's the one we're having problems with. Let's go ahead and click on Open. There it is. Let's right click on it. It's 89,000. Looks okay here in preview, but when I draw it out, it's definitely got some problems. So let's click on Edit. Let's rotate that guy. So what it looks like to me is that some of this stuff is reversed. Okay. And if we look close enough, whoops, that's why X-normal was not reading it. It was having a real hard time because everything is reversed on it. Okay. So ZBrush, if anything, will kind of show us that we've got some real problems in here. Everything's reversed on those faces there. Okay, now sometimes in mine it's hard to see this stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and, that's nice to know because now we know how to fix it. So let's go ahead and minimize ZBrush. Go ahead and do a new document. There we go. No. Let's go ahead and minimize that. I know we got a lot of stuff open. Okay, so the high poly is a problem here, and before we created a high poly, that's why we always save this stuff, high divot. Let's go zoom in a little bit before we smoothed it, and let's reverse those normals. Okay, there's no real easy way. They used to have something called Conform in reversing normals. Let's try it. Conform. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to do, if it will conform correctly. So let's go click on normals, keep it simple, conform. So you can see that just no way of knowing how this is looking. So let's go into lighting and turn two-sided lighting off. So now let's just select all the faces and go to normals reverse. So now this should work. So let's turn on lighting, two-sided lighting again. Okay, it looks like normals are okay. So if you want to check normals, if they're facing the right way, go into lighting and turn off two-sided lighting. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so alright, so let's go ahead and smooth this out. So I'm going to duplicate this, Control D, and then add another layer and see if we can't smooth this out. Try this again. Subdivision levels of 3. There we go. Okay, we have the same result. I believe we have the same result. Alright. There we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead. This is the high poly. We're going to scale that to 16 so we don't run into the scale problem. And I'm hoping, whoops, 126, that's too big. And 16, there we go. Alright, so scale that, let's go ahead and edit, delete by type history, modify freeze transformations. And you may not run into this issue, but if you do, now you know how to fix it. So, alright, so the high poly and low poly are working together. They're the same size. Okay, good. Let's click on the high poly again. Alright, and let's go ahead and save it out. Export selection. Let's go ahead and save it over top again of the high poly. Alright. Okay, so let's go ahead and do File, Save Scene As. So sometimes your normals get reversed, and that's how you fix them. Alright, so now let's go back into ZBrush and let's take a look. Let's go ahead and import. There we go, open. Okay, alright, let's draw it out. There we go. Hit T for edit. And now we can rotate around there. And that's our dice. Okay, now, it should now work. Not all the normals are facing correctly. This should now work in X-normal. Okay, let's check it out. Sometimes it can be very frustrating trying to problem solve things out, but this is good to see some of the issues that I have too as well, that if you run into them, you know how to fix them. You may not run into the same issues that I have, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on the new, low definition, click on the low. There we go. Baking options, we can go pretty fast on this. Let's do normal map. And we'll do 4 times, and let's go in here and rename it dice. And I'm just going to guess this is correct. This is going to be it. Dice finish. Save. Let's go ahead and do a generate map. Shouldn't get any scale issue now, and look at it. It's working perfectly. So the normals, reverse normals, were the issue. That rendered very fast. Okay. Okay, cool. That looks great. So that one's done. We can close that. Map generated 9.9 seconds. Now let's do a ambient occlusion map. And we don't have to do it. We don't have to name it. So let's go ahead and do generate the maps. Right. So 148 seconds. I won't have that in the video. Anyway, so here's our ambient occlusions. Go ahead and close that. If there are any other, like you want a convexity map, a height map, let's do a height map just for fun. And, oh, I did anti-aliasing at 4. Probably could go a little bit lower than that. Probably do 1. That's probably what took so long. Let's go do a height map real quick. There's my height map. Pretty interesting. Alright, let's close that. We're all done. I'm just going to pull the ambient occlusion. This is the height map. So that's kind of interesting what we got here. Let's close that. Alright, let's go ahead and close this up, and now we have your maps, and now you can move on into Photoshop.